11 most well-preserved animals. Before we dive right into this video, let's take a quick look at one of our viewers' comments. VaviGT had this to say: "Your video is best. I love you." Smiley face. Thanks for commenting, VaviGT, and don't forget to subscribe. Now, back to our video. Number 11. A Chasmosaurus. Discovered in the Dinosaur Provincial Park in Alberta, Canada, this skeleton of a baby chasmosaurine was unearthed back in 2013. The chasmosaurine is a distant relative of a more widely known dinosaur. That's right, this dinosaur is the distant cousin of the famous Triceratops. Discovered by Professor Phil Currie, was employed by the University of Alberta. He estimates that the baby chasmosaurine died around the age of 3. Professor Currie also stated that thanks to soil analysis that were taken from where the fossil was found, it was determined that the area was once filled with water and that the baby most likely ended up drowning. If it would have reached adulthood, it would have weighed more than an Indian elephant. Number 10. A horse fetus. This 48-million-year-old fossil was discovered 15 years ago and is said to be the oldest remains of a mammalian womb. The fossil was located in the oil shales in the Grube Messel in Darmstadt, Germany. Yes, this animal happens to be an early ancestor of what we know of today as horses. The poor creature apparently was close to giving birth when it ended up kicking the bucket. Researchers believe that the animal didn't die because of any pregnancy complications and ruled that the cause of death was most likely drinking the poisoned water of a nearby prehistoric lake. Surprisingly, tissue from the animal's uterus and placenta were well preserved along with the fetus. Number 9. A moa claw. Moas were a class of flightless birds that once roamed the native lands of New Zealand. They were eventually wiped out in the 1500s, mainly because of overhunting by man. The largest species of moa were capable of growing up to a frightening height of 12 feet. The upland moa claw in the following image was discovered back on January 7th, 1987, inside of a cave that was on Mount Owen, close to Nelson. It was dated at being around 3,300 to 3,400 years old. Upland moas were one of the smaller species of moa and only grew to be around 3 feet tall. However, you can see how enormous just one of their feet really were. Number 8. A mummified rat. This mummified rat was brought into the curiosity shop Wells Trading Post, located in Wells, Somerset, owned by Teneath Newland. The customer who brought the rat said that it had been discovered inside the wall of an old Welsh cottage, and it most likely must have gotten stuck inside at some point. Apparently, the rat was also discovered along with a cat, and the two were purchased by Miss Newland. The two mummies sit on her windowsill and attract a lot of attention, which is no surprise as any sort of mummy would naturally cause quite a stir of commotion. Number 7. A mummified cat. This is the mummified cat that was also brought to the Wells Trading Shop in the same box as the mummified rat that was just previously mentioned. The cat is also said to be more than 300 years old. However, unlike the rat, it is believed that the cat was purposefully put into the wall of an old Welsh cottage in which it was founded. Dr. Marion Gibson, who is an expert of witchcraft and folklore at Exeter University, states that the cat was most likely placed into the cottage wall while it was still alive. She says that this was a fairly common practice throughout Europe because people believed this would ward off any bad luck. This isn't the first time a cat has been found inside the walls of a home, as one was discovered back in 2009 and another in 2013. Number 6. Sasha the woolly rhinoceros. In 2014, the remains of this 18-month-old woolly rhinoceros were found in a ravine by a hunter in the Sakha Republic, Siberia. It happens to be the largest and coldest region in Russia, which explains why the animal's carcass was so well preserved by permafrost. Dubbed as Sasha, the young rhino's body was initially believed to be around 10,000 years old when it was first discovered, but it was last year that scientists announced it was 34,000 years old after an autopsy was performed. It's believed that Sasha's cause of death was due to drowning, since its nasal passages were clogged with mud. Even though the animal was preserved very well, the sex could not be determined. Number 5. Yuka the mammoth. In the early months of last year, a group of Russian and South Korean scientists began their efforts at extracting DNA from this baby mammoth's carcass and trying to clone it. Officially dubbed as Yuka, the well-preserved body of the mammoth was discovered in the Siberian permafrost back in 2013. Yuka is recognized as the most well-preserved specimen in all of paleontology, and it's believed that she died somewhere between the ages of 6 and 11 years old. Yuka died some 39,000 years ago at the hands of hunters by the looks of her wounds. Before being taken to the lab, Yuka was on display at a museum in Moscow, Russia. Number 4. Uyan and Dina the lion cubs. Just like Sasha the woolly rhino, these two cave lion cubs that were named Uyan and Dina were discovered in the Sakha Republic of Siberia back in the summer of 2015. The cubs were dated at being 12,000 years old and could prove to be an explanation as to how these predatory cats died out as a species 10,000 years ago. No one is quite sure as to how these animals died out, but it's believed that they died out due to the dwindling population of their food sources, such as cave bears and deer, because these animals were top predators and weren't prone to getting trapped in swamps, unlike woolly mammoths. Number 3. A 9,300-year-old bison. Like most animals that are well preserved under sheets of ice, this bison carcass was found back in July of 2011 in the Sakha Republic of Siberia. The 9,300-year-old bison mummy was so well intact that when scientists opened it up, they discovered that its heart, blood vessels, digestive system, and brain were completely maintained. They were able to identify its cause of death as most likely being starvation, as there was quite the lack of body fat near the animal's abdominal area. There only happens to be 3 steppe bison mummies that have so far been discovered in the entirety of the planet, and this one is the most complete out of all 3 specimens, a truly rare find. Number 2. The Tumat dog. The remains of this 12,450-year-old puppy were located close to the river Sayalaka in the Sakha Republic back in 2011. The dog is believed to have been around 3 months old before it died. It was discovered to be a female. Her body was discovered by a pair of brothers named Yuri and Igor Gorokov, about 26 miles from their home in the village of Tumat, which is where she gets her name. The Tumat dog is believed to have died from a landslide that occurred at the edge of the river. Before we reveal number 1, let us know in the comments section below which one of these animals you found the most fascinating, and don't forget to subscribe. And now, number 1. A mammoth trunk with blood. It was 3 years ago when scientists in Siberia made the astonishing discovery. This woolly mammoth carcass that has been frozen for approximately 10,000 years is said to have the best preserved woolly mammoth trunk ever to be found in Siberia. Muscle and hair samples can still be found attached to the body, and scientists were even able to extract a small vial of mammoth blood that created a wave of excitement for researchers in the hopes to one day clone the animal and resurrect it from extinction.